Hey, what's up? Thank you for joining my video. My name is Robert. This is a channel that is primarily based on mental health issues, society, mental health's reflection on society, and vice versa. What I'm going to talk about in this video is something that is very personal to me. I want to go over my experience on how depression felt. Okay? Thank God I am not in a state where I feel like I am depressed anymore. I'm off all of my medicines I was taking for 13 plus years. I'm more active. I'm doing so much better not being depressed. But here's the thing. I was depressed for a long time, on and off for a long time. I would say close to 18 years. And I went probably 3 years without being diagnosed with having depression. So I'm going to go over 3 different aspects of depression, and we'll just kind of go from there. So the first thing about depression is a mental health disorder. Depression is something people can't see externally, right? If I had a broken arm and I was walking around in a cast or in a wheelchair with a broken leg or on crutches, or if I had a big cut or something like that, something physical that people could actually see, then there would be sympathy, more initial sympathy and understanding than something like depression. So when it comes to having that issue, it's important to understand that people, for the most part, they're not going to understand. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not if you're watching this and you're feeling that way, it's not your job to make them understand exactly how you feel. Now, from my experience, I would tell people how I feel. Some would be like, more or less, snap out of it. By the way, saying snap out of it to someone who is actually depressed is like asking a homeless man to suddenly be rich. It is not possible. It does not work that way. So you confide in people and one of two things happens. Either they really don't understand, they don't care to understand, they may look at you as weak. That's a stigma. That's a whole nother video that I want to make. But the other side of it is the people who actually do want to understand, or people who have actually felt that way before. But here's the thing. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. My depression isn't the same as the other hundreds of thousands or millions of people who are severely depressed. It's not the same. So I don't even understand what those people are exactly going through. I can relate for the most part. I can be someone to talk to, but I don't feel I have the right to say, yeah, I understand exactly what you're going through, because the reality is, I don't. Number 2, with depression, to describe it, the best way I can describe it, as far as my experience goes, is you start to feel as if life just really you don't have much of a purpose. You start to have a very low amount of energy, both mentally and physically. You start to not really see things the way you used to see things. You don't really get joy out of activities or hobbies that you used to get joy out of. It becomes a real issue to interact with people when you just don't want to do it. And when I talk about it makes you not smell, not taste, not feel the same way, you don't even see the same way. Like colors don't, they're not as vibrant as they once were. It's almost like taking a picture and putting a sepia tone effect on it, or almost black and white, like gray. You don't really see the colors. You don't really see the beauty. When I was depressed, severely depressed, I felt very isolated. I felt like no one understood. I didn't want to feel like a victim, but it was very frustrating because there was times where I didn't need to be depressed. I had things to do. I have a daughter to take care of. And there was a lot of times where I didn't have it in me. I get her every other weekend. There would be weekends where I would say, look, just stay with your mom because I can't get out of bed. Now, did I say that to my 5-year-old daughter? No, I don't want to confuse her. But you kind of get the point. So yeah, in a very small nutshell, that is what depression feels like. It kills your energy. It takes away your joy. It destroys you mentally. It's like a symbiotic alien came in and made you a totally different person than you used to be. And that, I know that's kind of a weird way of explaining it, but I'm really just trying to throw darts everywhere so people watching this can maybe relate. Number 3, taking medication. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I've been to many doctors. I've seen a few therapists. Medication did help. And the majority of doctors that I went to wanted to help. They wanted to. They also wanted to see their next patient be on time for that appointment. It's a whole nother story, whole nother video that will be made. But having said that, with medication, it's not always a bad option to try. Now, I totally get it. I get it. If someone is to take medication for something like depression or even anxiety, they're kind of surrendering themselves to that problem. When we as humans have dignity, right? We have respect for ourselves, and we shouldn't be depressed. People around us aren't the only ones who don't understand it, right? We ourselves don't understand it. So the idea might be, I'm going to get over this. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to do it my way. That can very well work with the right tactics. It can very well work. And I would recommend that way above every way. But having said that, sometimes medication is a good Band-Aid to get you back on track. I'm not advising you to get on medication. I am not advising you to not get on medication. I'm telling you my personal experience. Medication did help me for a while. But I will tell you a side note. The thing that helped me the most was exercising. If exercising could be put in a pill and taken orally, that would be the most effective way to beat something like depression. But here's the catch. When you're depressed at a real low point, you don't have much energy. You don't have much drive. You don't have much of a reason to go exercise or do cardio or do anything positive that might help your situation, because at that point you're just trying to make it through the day. So long story short, I want this channel to be about Mental health, I want it to become a community where we can all come together and we can talk about certain things with no stigma, no judgment, nothing like that. For the most part, understanding, right? And I want to build awareness around mental health. And I think that as a society, we're growing towards that. But I think mental health issues are growing faster, if that makes any sense at all. Look, I'm happy you watched my video. I hope it wasn't depressing. But again, like I said, I want to help. I want to be here to help. I want to be someone who can relate to you if you're going through that. And last thing I'll leave you with is you're not alone. You are not alone in this fight. The fight is yours to win. That's true. But you're not alone. As much as isolated as you may feel. Anyway, would love to hear your comments. Would love to hear a little bit of your story. What worked, what didn't work, that sort of thing. But having said all that, again, my name is Robert. I'm signing off.